Welcome. This is a recording on the status of the COVID-19 websites that I know. Basically, today is March 17th, 2022, St. Patrick's Day. First thing, let's call up my favourite spa, and this website, which I built about 18 months ago, stopped working 2 days ago. I've looked at the data coming in through the inspect options and I think it's Fiddler and Chrome tools and a few things just to see what's going on. I haven't seen anything obvious like where is the data. So one thing I know I can use is this website here, which is the official website from the Canary Islands government. They've been using throughout the pandemia. This website is particularly slow, so I do have a countdown of about 10 minutes ready for this recording, but hopefully it will take a little less than that. So I'm going to wait for this to load completely, and that's usually about 2 minutes. This is one of the reasons I created the site that you saw a moment ago, because it usually took about a second or two to load all the data and you could see the situation where you live. This site is more of a, well, it is a dashboard, and it's more of a overkill basically for the public and me. It takes forever. Okay, right, that's the data loaded. Now, so to see the situation where I live, I click on this particular link here. Great, now the only way I can find out what's happening in Las Palmas de Gran Canaria, which is the capital of this particular island here in the north, is to expand. That zoomed me in fine. Well, there's some graphics, but they don't really help, I assure you. I just expand this as soon as I can. In another article I've mentioned that this website is a good example of modals and models and modules in a slightly different order, you would say that, but let's just see if I can get in there as quickly as possible. Pardon me. And here we are. I want to know March 15th, 6. Okay, that will be the last set of data then that's available. There you go, 326.9. Now that was, I think, is the number of cases. I need to just click on this diario. That one is better. Okay, fallecidos, cases. I need to restart that. Come in. I'll leave it there. And one more time. Okay, March 14th, 459. That's what's reported. There was a rather incredible drop, which is not reported here. February the 13th, February the 14th, sometime within a 48-hour window, the number dropped by over 20,000 in one day, which is pretty suspicious. I mean, either, it wasn't accurate before for several days, or it's not accurate after that point, or some combination of the two, but it caused me to lose faith in the accuracy of the reporting. So that's about the only way that I can see what's happened in the last, the graph is different from the other one surprisingly, in the last 3 or 4 days. It seemed to go from 250 to 459. So that, I believe, is the number of new cases on a daily basis. So if I close this down, we see here active cases in Gran Canaria, 4,468. Now, given that the vast majority of people live in Las Palmas de Gran Canaria, over 400,000, and there's about maybe 250,000 in other locations, this number does generally tend to represent the situation in the capital, with some considerations for other regions. Historically, this is where the vast majority of cases are, and by that I do mean something like 90%, without being able to confirm that here at this moment. That's the only way that I can see what the situation of anyone is, other than looking at the press. There is one other website which I'm going to try and drift off and find now. I think it was called CV Canarias. There it is there. Nothing to do with the curriculum. Here we go. Let's see if they're still reporting. Still asking for money, as always. Accept the cookies, you've got no option. Now, this site I've always found complete overkill. To find out what I want. I want to know Las Palmas de Gran Canaria. There's no search facility, it never has been. They never got that implemented because of the way they did it. Template driven approach. So, here we go, Gran Canaria, nothing. Lots of colourful graphs that mean Fanny Adams to me. At a quick glance, clearly. Yes, very, yeah. So, nothing there really that seems to... Okay, that's over what time period? I don't know what that means. So I'm going to stop, close that site down, and I'll stop the recording. I'll pause it until I think of something better to say. Right, I just want to go back to the website I created a moment ago, just to show you that it's still listing all of the towns, municipios, zones, population, and also the relevant hospital data is still coming through. Most of this data, I think, that the system uses came from two files, two URLs, two queries, two JSON responses. So you were able to, for example, I was able to say Las Palmas, there you go, Las Palmas de Gran Canaria was the way, and that did appear top of the list, so there's been some serious changes there. I'm going to rabbit on for just one more second and just say that even when I go and inspect the data that comes through by looking at the network tab and hitting empty, this is the way that I found the data to begin with and managed to model the principal object that was being returned so that I could use it in the service that the Angular application that you saw a moment ago was using. So I can't find any data here. That was the point. I took a look at the, see this, there's polyfills. No, I want to type. So I want to, generally when you're looking for data, you're going to look for a query or just simply JSON. And look at this one, 3.5, 4.2. So I'll take a look at that one first. And you can see the features that were there before. It's just that in this case, there's not everything's a feature or an attribute in each of the queries. They didn't kind of name it differently in each case, which is, one approach. Let's file, for example. I have no idea what these are. There's a lot of records here, but there's not a lot of data here. And this is the fields where before there were data, and I'll show you that in another video at some point. But I can't locate the data. I generally do that by size of the file because they're big, 3, 4, 5K, I don't know, but a fair bit of data. Postcodes municipios. Oh, that's interesting. What's that? That's my data. Okay, that's something I added in so that I could, within the application, something I didn't show you. I was able to, where did I do that? Subaria. Here you could put in your postcode, for example, and I would click to confirm, and that would bring me up the number of cases in my postcode based on the number of cases in a particular area. For example, Las Palmas and the number of postcodes, that would give me an average, but that too clearly isn't working either because it relied on the same data. I don't like these radio buttons, but for some reason that's how I did it when I was doing it on the phone. It seemed easier. Anyway, that's the end of the recording. Some mysterious things there.